Look at you. Don't move. Don't even blink yet. Just sit there and feel that twisting in your gut. That heavy, sour, crawling sensation, like something inside you is trying to escape your own body. Yeah, that nausea, that's not weakness. That's awareness finally waking up. I'm literally nauseous right now, because what they put you through wasn't just pain. It wasn't just betrayal. It wasn't just life being unfair. No. What they did to you was surgical, precise, intentional, disgusting in a way that doesn't just bruise your heart. It rewires your entire nervous system. They didn't just hurt you. They studied you, learned your softness, your loyalty, your blind spots, and then they weaponized it. And you stood there like a saint, smiling like an angel, while they treated you like something disposable. Isn't that the part that makes you sick? Not just what they did, but how long you tolerated it. See that nausea twisting inside you right now? That's the moment your two selves finally collide. The one you pretended to be, and the one that's been watching in silence the whole time. The light and the dark. The saint and the psychopath. Because let's be honest, you weren't blind. You saw the signs. You felt the shifts. You heard the tone in their voice change. The respect slowly rot. The energy turn cold. But you told yourself stories, didn't you? They're just going through something. It's not that bad. They didn't mean it. You lied. Beautifully. And they kept pushing just to see how far they could go before you snapped. That's what makes this so filthy, so nauseating. They didn't just cross a line. They erased it. And every time they did, you redrew it. Smaller. Do you feel it now? That tightening in your chest. That heat behind your eyes. That subtle rage trying to claw its way out of your spine. Good. Because that's where the real you lives. Not the polite version. Not the forgiving version. Not the version that bends, explains, and absorbs damage like it's your job. No. The real you is unpredictable. And that terrifies people like them. Because they built their entire game around one assumption, that you would always choose peace over power. But here's the twist they never calculated. Peace was never your nature. It was your restraint. And restraint has limits. You see, pain like this isn't random. This is initiation. This is evolution ripping through your identity like fire through dry skin. It burns, yeah, but it also reveals. Because now you see everything. You see manipulation in micro-expressions. You hear disrespect hidden in jokes. You feel intention before actions even happen. You're not the same person they tried to break. You're something worse or better. Depends on who's asking. That's the paradox, isn't it? You can be the kindest soul in the room and still carry something inside you that knows exactly how to destroy anyone who confuses your kindness for weakness. Angel face, demon mind, soft voice, violent clarity. And the most dangerous part? You don't even react the same anymore. Before, you would have cried, explained, tried to fix it. Now, you just watch. You let them talk. You let them move. You let them reveal themselves. And you say nothing. Because silence is terrifying when it comes from someone who finally understands. They wanted you confused. Now you're calculated. They wanted you emotional. Now you're precise. They wanted you broken. Now you're divided, split right down the middle between mercy and chaos. And here's the part that's going to make that nausea spike again. You needed this. Yeah, I said it. You needed to be pushed this far, needed to feel this disgust, Needed to hit that moment where your stomach turns and your mind goes quiet and something inside you whispers, never again. Because people like you. You don't change from advice. You don't evolve from comfort. You transform when something inside you snaps so violently that the old version of you can't survive it. And guess what? It didn't. That version of you, the one they used, drained, disrespected, gone. What's left is sharper, colder, smarter. You don't trust the same. You don't love the same. You don't even think the same. And that scares you a little, doesn't it? Good, it should, because you're stepping into something unpredictable, something that doesn't beg for validation, doesn't chase closure, doesn't need approval, something that understands that not everyone deserves your light. And some people, they only understand your darkness. But here's where it gets dangerous. You don't become them. No, that's too easy. You become something they can't read. You can smile and mean nothing. You can walk away. Without warning, you can forgive, without ever giving access again. That's power, not loud, not emotional, silent, controlled, surgical. So let that nausea sit there for a second longer. Don't run from it. That sick feeling in your stomach, that's your soul rejecting everything you tolerated. That's your mind purging illusions. That's your evolution beginning. And trust me, they're not ready for what you become when you stop being the version of yourself they got comfortable disrespecting. Not even close. And you feel it spreading now. Don't you? Not just in your stomach anymore. It's climbing up your chest, into your throat, sitting right behind your eyes like pressure that refuses to release. That's not anxiety, that's not fear, that's recognition, because now you're replaying everything, every word they said that didn't sit right, every joke that felt a little too sharp, every moment you swallowed your instincts just to keep the peace. And it's disgusting you now. Not just them, but you. Yeah. Let's not lie to ourselves anymore. You're not just sick because of what they did. You're sick because you let it breathe. You let it exist longer than it should have. You gave them access when your intuition was already screaming no. You handed them your energy, your loyalty, your patience, and they treated it like it was replaceable. Like you were replaceable. That's the part that burns differently, doesn't it? Because deep down, you know your value. You always did. You just chose to ignore it. In the name of love, loyalty, hope, whatever pretty word you use to dress up your self-betrayal. But now the mask is melting, and what's underneath isn't soft anymore. It's sharp. Uncomfortably sharp. You're starting to see patterns in people that you used to romanticize. You're starting to feel distance where you used to feel attachment. You're starting to lose patience for things you once tolerated with a smile. That's not you becoming cold. That's you becoming accurate. Because here's the truth no one tells you. When you finally wake up, the world doesn't look inspiring. It looks predatory. You start noticing how many people operate on convenience instead of respect. How many only show up when you're useful. How many disappear the moment you stop being easy to control. And suddenly, you don't feel safe being soft anymore. That's where the real shift begins, right there. That dangerous little moment where your empathy starts negotiating with your survival. Where your heart says, understand them, but your mind whispers, end this. And that conflict, that's your power source, because you're not one thing anymore. You're not just the forgiving one. You're not just the strong one. You're both, simultaneously. a paradox walking in human form. You can love deeply and detach instantly. You can care and still cut someone off without a second thought. You can understand someone's pain and still decide they'll never touch your life again. That's what they created. Not a victim, not a broken soul, a controlled storm. And here's what makes it even more terrifying. You're starting to enjoy the silence, not the peaceful kind, the calculated kind, the kind where you observe everything but reveal nothing, the kind where people start to feel like they're losing access to you, and they don't know why. You notice it, don't you? The way they look at you now, confused, slightly uneasy, like they're trying to figure out what changed, but they can't quite reach it. Good. Let them feel that. Let them sit in that discomfort, because for the first time, you're no longer predictable, and predictability was the only way they controlled you. They knew you'd forgive. They knew you'd stay. They knew you'd explain yourself over and over until they felt comfortable again. But now you don't explain. You don't chase. You don't react the same. You don't even argue. You just withdraw. And that silence, it echoes louder than any scream you ever gave them, because now they're left alone with their own actions. No distraction, no emotional reaction to FUD off. Just the raw, unfiltered consequence of what they did to you. And trust me, that hits harder than anything you could have said. But here's where it gets even darker. You're pulling away from the version of you that allowed them. And that process, it's violent, internally. Because you have to face it. You have to admit that the person who hurt you wasn't the only one responsible for your suffering. You have to confront the fact that you ignored red flags. You minimized disrespect. You justified behavior that should have been a deal breaker. And that realization, it cuts deep. But it also does something else. It gives you control back. Because if you were part of the pattern, then you can break it. Completely. No half measures. No, maybe they'll change. No, let me give them one more chance. No, you shut the door, lock it, and you don't even stand there waiting anymore. You walk away without closure, without explanation, without needing them to understand. Because here's the final truth that's going to settle that nausea once and for all. Closure was never something they were capable of giving you. That's why you kept feeling empty. That's why every conversation felt unfinished. That's why every apology felt hollow. You were expecting depth from someone operating on surface-level intentions. And now you see it. Clearly, painfully, powerfully. So let that sickness turn into something else. Let it evolve. Let it sharpen your instincts. Let it raise your standards so high that only the right people can even reach you. Because what they did to you, yeah, it was disgusting. But what you become because of it, that's something they'll never be able to touch again. And that's where the real shift begins. Right when they realize they didn't just lose your patience, they lost access to a version of you that they will never, ever get back. Do you feel that tremor in your chest? That jittering along your spine like something alive is waking up inside you? That's not fear. That's evolution. That's the part of you that's been dormant, buried under layers of tolerance, under fake smiles, under excuses you told yourself just to survive. That part of you is finally clawing its way to the surface, and it's deliciously dangerous. You thought you could play the game their way. You thought patience, kindness, silence, compromise would protect you. You were wrong. They didn't need to push you. They needed to expose you. and exposed you are. Every flaw they pointed out, every slight they whispered behind your back, every friendly jab, every microaggression, it wasn't random. It was calculated, disgusting, and yes, nauseating. But now, that nausea isn't just pain, it's ignition, because here's the truth. Pain is the currency of transformation. Every insult, every betrayal, every manipulation, every single moment. They made you question your worth. It was building you into something else, something sharper, something unpredictable, something they can't read, and they hate that. Oh, they hate it. But it doesn't matter what they feel. They don't get to dictate your evolution anymore. You're realizing it now, aren't you? You're seeing the web they spun around you, how intricately they manipulated, how delicately they broke you piece by piece. And suddenly, you understand the pattern. Not just their pattern, the human pattern. How people prey on empathy, on kindness, on predictability, how they assume loyalty is weakness, how they calculate every interaction like a surgeon, dissecting you without anesthesia. And now, you're awake, finally awake. And awakening is messy, it's nauseating, it's dizzying. It's that sick, twisting sensation in your gut, that knot behind your eyes, that sharp taste at the back of your throat. That's the old you dying. And it has to die, because the new you isn't polite, the new you isn't nice, the new you isn't forgiving in the way they understood it. The new you is untouchable. And untouchable doesn't mean easy. It doesn't mean safe. It means unreadable. It means they can't poke, prod, or predict you. It means every word you say carries weight. Every silence is threatening. Every glance has an edge. Every step you take is deliberate and terrifying if someone dared to misunderstand your restraint. Do you feel that power building in your chest? That cold, calculating heat that grows when you remember everything, feel everything, and start connecting the dots like a predator sizing up prey? That's not vengeance. Not yet. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step toward chaos. Controlled chaos that you wield as a weapon. Because let's be honest, predictability is weakness. And they treated you as weak. They assumed you would always be predictable, that you would bend, that you would forgive without boundary, that you would accept abuse in the name of keeping the peace. But here's the delicious irony. Peace was never the point. Pain was never the point. The point was power. And now the power belongs to you. You've lived through manipulation, humiliation, betrayal. You've tolerated disgust. You've survived disgust. And now that survival isn't just endurance. It's a blueprint, a map of human depravity. Every line marked, every pattern memorized. You know who can hurt you. You know who can't. You know what to absorb and what to incinerate before it even touches you. That's evolution through pain. That's growth through nausea. That's standing in the ruins of your own suffering and realizing you're the only one capable of rebuilding it into something magnificent. And yes, it's scary. The shift is terrifying. Because as the old you dies, the new you comes in its place. Darker, sharper, wiser, unpredictable. You're learning that kindness doesn't always require softness, that patience doesn't require weakness, that forgiveness doesn't require access, and most importantly, that unpredictability is your most terrifying weapon. They thought they were teaching you a lesson. They thought they were in control. They thought that if they broke you enough times, molded you into fear, into dependency, into confusion, they would own you. Ha ha. Ownership is impossible now. Because you've learned the ultimate paradox. The more they tried to break you, the stronger, the sharper, the deadlier you became. You carry the light of the old self, the empathy, the compassion, the love for people who deserved it. But layered over it is a shadow, the shadow of understanding, of calculation, of cold justice, the shadow that whispers, do not forget, do not forgive too soon, do not let them forget either. And you are walking between them both, every step deliberate, every move calculated, every emotion a controlled storm. You are a paradox incarnate, the angel who terrifies, the saint who punishes, the softest voice that can kill with a single sentence or silence. And every time that nausea strikes, every time your stomach twists at the memory of what they did, remember this, that sickness is proof. Proof that the transformation is happening. That the old version of you, the version they thought they could manipulate, is burning away. And what rises from the ashes, something more than human, something untouchable, something unpredictable, something that doesn't bend, doesn't break, and doesn't forgive carelessly. You're not the same. You can't be. And that's the point. Because when they wake up to the fact that you're gone, not just gone physically, but gone emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they'll panic, they'll scramble, they'll look for traces of the old you. And there will be none. You'll be a storm contained in human form, a force they miscalculated, a mind they underestimated, a presence that now terrifies, simply because they cannot predict what comes next. And that is power. Pure, undeniable, terrifying power. So let that nausea twist a little more. Let it burn a little deeper. Let it remind you of what they took, what they thought they could break, what they thought they understood about you. That sickness is not weakness. That nausea is your birthright. That pain is the forge that made you into something impossible to ignore, impossible to control, impossible to break again. You've survived the disgusting, the cruel, the manipulative. You've stared into the abyss of human deceit and betrayal. And now the abyss stares back, and it's learning your name. And from here on, the world will have to learn it too. Good. Lean in, because this is the part most people can't handle. They thought they could shape you, bend you, break you, twist you into something manageable. Ha! How naive. You aren't anyone's lesson anymore. You're the lesson, the warning, the storm they refused to respect. Let that nausea settle one last time. Feel it, taste it. Let it fuel you. Because from it rises clarity, power, and a terrifying edge they'll never anticipate. You're not just surviving, you're evolving, you're untouchable, you're unpredictable. And the moment they realize that, the moment they see you stand in the wreckage of what they tried to destroy, that's when they finally understand. You're not broken, you're awakened, you're not weak, you're unstoppable, and you are finished with being anyone's victim. Now walk forward, silent, cold, certain, and let them choke on the consequences of ever underestimating you.